Not everyone and everything needs a piece of you. Let's talk about guarding your energy, aka protecting your peace. What's up, y'all? My name is Elia. I'm a mindset coach. I talk candidly about my journey as well as share some tips to encourage growth and healing and uplift anyone who may struggle to feel seen. So, I'm guarding my energy, I'm protecting my peace. I'm sure we've all heard these words. What does this really mean? On the surface, it's pretty simple. Guarding your energy, protecting your peace really just means being more discerning and more scrutinous of the things you allow into your life, the things you engage in, things you do, or relationships that you lend your energy to. Just what am I actually involving myself in, and how am I going to just choose to show up in this environment, this relationship, this scenario, whatever the case may be. Simple, right? And very hard to do sometimes. Depending on what the circumstances, it may be a work setting, a family relationship, a personal, romantic relationships, projects, whatever the case may be. There's always something tugging at us, always something popping up, always somebody who seems to need something from us. And it can be very difficult to choose when and where to even show up at all. So let's talk a little bit more about what that can look like. And of course, as always, I'm going to share a bit about what that has looked like for me throughout my journey at points. So the way I like to put it is that it's important to show all of yourself, but not give all of yourself. And what I mean by that is showing all of yourself, showing up authentically. I am me. I am me in this space. I am me outside of this space. I am me. And it's important to show up authentically because that just really reduces the amount of internal friction you're going to feel. Even though, I think it is also important to mention that sometimes we do have to tailor ourselves a little bit depending on what the environment is, right? We can't always be 100% raw. That's just probably not the most prudent thing to do in certain circumstances. And that doesn't mean fake the funk or change who we are at our core or completely go against our values. That's just not authentic. At the same time, though, even showing up authentically and being like, hey, I'm Elia through and through, the Elia you see today in this space, same guy you're going to get next week in that space, just with a little bit of growth sprinkled onto it, right? Even though that may be true and that's how I move, I still think it's important to not give all of yourself. And what I mean by that is not everybody or everything needs access to you. It don't work that way. If you're constantly giving everything away and constantly saying yes to everything, what's left for you? And we've all heard the expression pouring from an empty cup. That's a very quick way to empty your cup. And you can't really do much once you're at that point of exhaustion, depletion, just overwhelm. That's not a healthy place to be. So it's very important to be intentional about what we do and how we do it, when we do it, whom we do it with. And I think it's important to save the best parts of you for you. That doesn't mean you don't share it selectively, but again, my gold is my gold. You can look at it, you can maybe even touch it sometimes. Maybe I'll even let you borrow it occasionally, but my gold is my gold. That's me. Right? So let me share a little bit about parts of my journey and, when maybe that wasn't such an easy thing for me to do. And again, it's still not easy, but it's a lot simpler these days for me to actually approach things. So I used to be terrible at guarding my energy or protecting my peace. Something about me, I'm very value driven. So I think it's important to help and give and sow into the world. And that actually used to be to a fault, to my own detriment, where if somebody needed help or really, asked me to do something, oh yeah, of course, I got you. And involving myself in things, saying yes to things that really didn't serve me, really didn't uplift me, really didn't actually pour into me. And that's not to say it's not important sometimes to just give, like give, please. I encourage it. It is important though to really examine what and how much of yourself you're giving. And for me, that was something that I just really wasn't good at. I wasn't great at choosing when to say no because I actually realized I developed this fixer complex over the course of my life because I was really good at fixing stuff, really good at solving problems, really good at helping and giving to my own detriment, to the point where I would consistently give away so much and then be exhausted, feel like an empty cup. And at points, and I have to be very careful about this, but at points that actually led to me feeling resentment toward certain people or certain relationships or certain environments. And that took a lot of work to walk away from and choose to do something differently, right? So walking away from that fixer complex and, letting myself understand and teaching myself that, hey, my value is not in what I can do or offer or give. It's just in existing as I am authentically. That's all I need to do. That really has changed the game. So I want to share a couple tips with you that helped me work away from the unhealthier side of that. First, I encourage you to ask yourself why you would even say yes to something. Let's say somebody asks you to do something, or there's an event you get invited to, or even at work, maybe there's a project that someone wants to throw at you. I think it's pretty important to first ask yourself, why would I say yes to this? How does this serve me? And again, that's not saying it has to be this quid pro quo. Oh, this got to do something for me, or I'm not going to do it. No, I don't think that's the kindest way to approach life. But at the same token, also, what am I being asked to do, and why would I say yes to this? Who is looking for access to me, and why would I give them access to me? It's really important to ask yourself those questions and come up with some kind of a concrete response to yourself. Secondly, I think it's really important to set boundaries. And boundaries can be a bit tricky because healthy boundaries aren't necessarily rigid. Well, it depends on the circumstance. But what I'm trying to say is healthy boundaries can be flexible and fluid. So setting boundaries that are contextual to the situation, the relationship, the moment, and can also grow and flow as things change is really important because that allows you to choose when to say no. Even if maybe you said yes 10 times before, that 11th time, it might be time to say no then, because that situation, that moment just does not serve you, or you ain't got it. And that's cool. That's perfectly fine. I think it's also important in those moments to ask yourself, does this grow me? Does this uplift me? Does this support me? Does this pour into me? All of these questions are just like, how does this really elevate me as a person so I can be the best version of myself and then reflect that out into the world? Again, you can't pour from an empty cup. Nobody's going to win if that's, the situation you find yourself in. I also feel like it's very important to honor when something or someone makes you uncomfortable. Now, I talk often about how growth is uncomfortable and how you should lean into that and really welcome and embrace that. That's not what I'm saying here. If there's a situation or somebody offers something and I'm just like, you know what, that don't even feel right in my spirit, or it's just like, that don't even sound right, or what are you talking about? Like, the math ain't math, and you talking 2 + 2 = 35. Help me understand. I gotta honor that. I can't find a way to make it make sense for me in any capacity. So it's a no. I'm just gonna be no. It's just no. Because I'm focused, and I encourage you to be focused on your growth, your health, your everything that just grows and uplifts you. And if it doesn't do that, just it might not be the thing for you. Only you can decide. So these are just a few tips, and of course, it's a lot deeper than that. But as always, I do want to leave you with a reflective question that I hope helps you on your journey. And today, that is, what is one thing you said yes to that you really needed to say no to? And what stopped you from honoring yourself? Think about it.